What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 30 of my Total War Warhammer 3 Yuan Bo Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, we got ourselves a nice little battle with our Lion Pride army, which was randomly built, but then, hey, it worked, so we're keeping it, I guess. And then got an even nicer battle against the orcs led by Grimgor, with Zhao Ming facing off against him and getting his defeat trait as well. Everything's coming up dragon siblings, I guess. Anyway, in terms of what we gotta do this time, well, we proceed or to continue to prosecute the war against the Greenskins, though they're looking to be in pretty bad shape already, and we may be able to, if we can get there in time, knock out the Chaos Dwarfs out of the Volary for good. We may also want to return Ding Jun Huang to battle as well, as he will want to get a little bit more XP, especially before we ferry him his upgraded army. Anyway, I believe we are done everything that needs to be done in terms of moves, etc, 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 so we're ready to skip on by and end the turn. There we go. Alrighty. Let's see if anybody does anything interesting like attack us right now. Alright, well, the war hosts of Jar are certainly not going to attack us. Although they have in the past, to their doom. Will they lead yet another force of laborers to their doom? Well, I guess as far as the laborers are concerned, it's probably better that they die under the fire and blades of the dragon siblings, rather than... Grimgor wants peace, yeah, it's not going to happen. Rather than... Oh, looks like you're going to attack... with Miao Ying there. Is this a battle worthy of a fight? The fact that this is coming in as a reinforcement could make it a little bit more interesting. Yeah, you know what, I feel like it's been enough of a while since Miao Ying has fought, so that this is maybe worth our time. A decisive victory or not, it's still casualties medium, and we are still a little bit hurt, so we could have a little bit more of a potential toughie here. Anyway, before we get started, two things. First, whatever I was saying was, yeah, it's probably better to die by us rather than continue working for the Chaos Dwarfs, as that's a horrible fate. And the second thing is, it's the 30th episode, and being a 5th episode in the series, just like to quickly remind you guys not to forget to drop those likes and comments below. If you've been enjoying this Let's Play, yada yada yada, let's get to it.
With infinite pride, they cannot prevail at range.
Alright, well, we're gonna have to wait for our reinforcements, and 1 second while we do so, I just got to move my cat, so might as well speed up while waiting. 2 seconds. Alright, and we are not done waiting for the reinforcements. Alrighty, well, you know, funnily enough, I was expecting the enemy army to actually move towards us. You saw that the reinforcement thing was here at first, and I figured, well, the enemy army would march towards our little reinforcing line, our little garrison here, and then promptly allow for Miao Ying to arrive behind them on the field and destroy them with artillery, but it didn't happen. And they didn't seem to want to move forward at all, which is odd, because I expected they would, but they seem to just be sort of milling around in a blob here for some reason. Not entirely sure why, but I guess that's their prerogative. They did send out at least one unit, however, a unit of Orc Boar Boy Biggins, though they're gonna have a big old bad time as they get hit by our artillery, specifically our Grand Cannons, and it looks like the Grand Cannons are fairly effective at this sort of thing. Let's see how they do. And the fire rain rockets are firing on you as well, and that's a lot of rockets to be seen coming your way. Alrighty, and they're about half HP, a few more hits, and I'm sure the Boar Boys will be out. I actually probably shouldn't even be wasting shots from the Fire Rain rockets on the Boar Boys, but it's kind of entertaining to watch, so I decided to allow it, regardless of the ammunition expenditure. And there we go, the Grand Cannons, man. It looked like one of those Boar Boys just got crushed simultaneously and by 3 cannonballs. And not the greatest of times, I'd wager. Anyway, while this poor unit of Boar Boys is getting absolutely ripped apart, it looks like the enemy has, by and large, gotten annoyed enough to start moving towards us, including this stupid blob that they've got going on. Still not entirely sure why they decided to do that, but once again, it's their problem. And I see a unit of Orc Boys, regular boys, not biggins, running ahead of the enemy army, and it seems like the same thing is probably going to happen to this pile of units as did to the Boar Boy biggins. There we go, gonna start off with the Grand Cannons, obviously, because they have greater range than the Fire Rain rockets, and the Grand Cannons alone have already taken a third of the HP off this thing. And here comes the Fire Rain. I notice that the unit hesitates as soon as it sees the Fire Rain rockets fire. It just sort of wants to turn. That's ugly. That's very, very ugly. Granted, though, this is a lot of artillery hits into a single unit. A lot of ammunition expenditure for not really a lot of damage efficiency-wise, but the unit was isolated in this sort of no man's land area and basically destroyed. Still gotta wait for the rest of the enemy army to arrive, and you know what? Just for a little bit, I want to watch or hear those Grand Cannons fire. I will never get tired of it. There we go. Certainly a reason to have multiple Grand Cannons in your army. Effectiveness aside, just to hear that sound again and again. I don't know if you guys know this, but I don't know if I've ever said this before, but I do appreciate good sound design. Anyway, I'm obviously joking. Anyway, looks like more enemy units are moving forward. It's still gonna take them a long time to reach us, and on top of that, we have a pretty darn good position. The artillery are at the top of a hill, and the enemy has to go up a long, long hill just to first reach our line of sacrificial peasants, which are out here from the garrison, and then right behind them, our main line with the crane gunners and the various units of crossbows. This is looking like it's going to be pretty ugly for the enemy. Oh, and it looks like another unit of Boar Boys is moving in, and the crane gunners have sighted them, which means bad news for the Boar Boys. Now, we also got to remember that the Jezzails aren't, or Jezzails, the crane gunners aren't as good as Jezzails are in my experience. They're better at sniping off single entities, or significantly better at sniping off single entities than they are at destroying everything in sight in the way that Jezzails are. But they're still okay. And against cavalry, at least, should still be pretty decent. But we shouldn't have the ability to out-Jezzails anyway. And, oh, it looks like at least one unit of Boar Boys might be looking to make their way through the gap in our front line. I also see the rock lobbers firing at our peasants. And, oh no, the magical arrows are gonna start coming down. Yeah, maybe not, Boar Boys. Maybe not. Alright, come on, you can do it. Yeah, no, you probably can't do it. Looks like they're gonna turn, and they're gonna try to book it out of there. The rest of the enemy army is still attempting to move in, although we can see the damage that the artillery alone has done so far. We've also started to target single entities with our Grand Cannons as well, and one of the Grand Cannons is focusing down the Orc War Boss, and the other one, the Black Orc Big Boss, right behind him, and it looks like they're being pretty effective at it as well. When you have a nice position like we do here with a hill to fire down from, this certainly increases the effectiveness of all your artillery pieces. Ooh, nice accuracy as well. Looks like all 3 hits from the Grand Cannons did connect. Very, very nice. And they've destroyed. Okay, those 2 didn't. That one did. Very nice as well. And And yeah, both the orc boss and the black orc boss are pretty much done for already. They will not reach our battle line at this rate, and Miao Ying has not needed to transform or do anything at all. Alright, and these two. Ouch. Very much ouch. This must be very demoralizing, trying to make their way up this hill like this, only for the cannons to just rip you apart, and the, well, same with the crossbows and fire rain rockets and whatnot. Anyway, it looks like these two are pretty much done. One more hit on each of them should take them out, as soon as the hit actually comes in. I want to see at least one of their death animations. Oh, come on, one more hit, one more hit. There we go, that one's down. You're good, and then the other one will take you out. More enemy units are streaming in vain towards our battle lines. Black Orc get absolutely ripped apart by the crossbows and the crane gunners, and they didn't even really reach our peasants, did they? Ouch. Or if they did, they certainly weren't too effective at it. I don't know what hit this pile of peasants, but the fact that most of their corpses are behind them, I have a feeling that they got hit by our own artillery. And just like that, suddenly, the battle is over. Oh, this poor enemy army, they got nothing. They got absolutely nothing. Oh well, at least we got some lovely shots of our range units working, and once again we gotta remember this is not even this army's final form. It's going to get more effective as we retrofit the units. Anyway, let's speed it up and knock out whatever other units we have left here. There aren't too many that we can reach, but at the very least the Grand Cannons can take a few more shots. And what do we have around here? This is an ogre territory by the looks of it, I think. Yeah, we got the shields with the symbol of the Great Maws on them. Or I guess these are probably bucklers or something, because they're, well, for an ogre, they should be quite small. Anyway, there we go, a decisive victory, and I should say, very decisive. Okay, in my defense, I genuinely thought that the enemy would do a little bit better than that, but unfortunately for them, they just could not handle the artillery at all, even though they had artillery of their own, but they were mostly wasting it on the peasants that we put to the vanguard, which, well, that's the peasants' problem. Let us go for, honestly, it doesn't matter, because the peasants get it either way. I go for the money, nothing else. No replenishment for the peasants. Alrighty, and that army should be destroyed. Alberic wants us to defensive alliance. I'd love to, but not while he's potentially going to fight the lizard response. You're probably going to ask for defensive alliance as well, but not while you're fighting Kairos. And Bok the lethal wants peace, but I'm just not sure that we care about that. He's also quite far from us. Vanaheimling's destroyed. Oh, Vanaheimling's destroyed. It looks like the Bellicor's doing pretty poorly here. Well, actually, not as poorly as I thought. He still has plenty of stuff, and, well, he hasn't been destroyed as yet, so luck to Bellicor, I guess. Ready for duty, attack thief, Cunlan Anvil, ready for completed in terms of its construction, or research. There we go, that's the one. That's the word. Wuxing Compass, yes, that's fine. I was just wondering whether we should keep that on you in this particular army. Oh, there is a tech thief out here. I was going to send you to go after Noctilus just in case we lost sight of him, which I guess we can do now. I also would like you to be replaced in this particular army with a different lord. Let's see, recruit lord, do we have one of these? Going to have to be a fire one. Bureaucrat and martial artist? Yeah, let's go for the martial artist, why not? Some sort of lion martial arts, because you have all those lions. Speaking of lions, this is what we'll do. You are... okay. You're gonna take all these. Like so. You are no longer needed, at least not for now. And you're out, you are in, and then you are going to increase mobility of the army. We want to make sure that we have Bound Earth, a Blood... life, and we want to get to the Stone Gaze for the buffs for the lions. We'll do the other stuff later. Then we'll want to actually delete 4 lions. Okay, let's do the ones with the lowest veterancy, like so, and then we'll want to global recruit from, let's say, Avalorn. No. Let's say Nagaroth. And we will want to get War Lions. And we could maybe do more War Lions from one of the others, but I want to see about potentially getting other units from them, so we'll wait. I don't want to go overboard and then deprive ourselves of additional units. Anyway, Yuan Bo, you're heading out now. You're going to suffer attrition while you head to the Galleon's graveyard, unfortunately, but I'm pretty sure it's, well, we can't do anything about that anyway. So we're going to have to deal with it. Shipwreck, well, okay, Farsight, come on, favorable winds, yes, for once. For once, the one that I wanted was the one that I got as well. No way to remove the attrition, so just head out to the Galleon's graveyard, though it's looking more and more likely that it might be destroyed, or at the very least sacked, by the time we get there. But we still want to destroy Noctilus so that he's not, well, in our way, or as much in our way as he currently is. Let's also get that tech up and running. Now that we have the Kunlun Anvil, we could go for casualty or punishment trade bonuses, construction time reduction for ports, charge bonus for long riders ain't bad. I don't really care about any of the upkeep buffs. Campaign movement range, that's always nice. Income from trade tariffs, powder mixings, or any unit buffs that we can get. Okay, any oh yes, inner speed. Speed for basically every melee unit. Definitely worth our time. Other stuff, maybe not as much, but I should have gotten this earlier, to be perfectly frank. Come on, Ruinous, what are you doing? Sentinel rights also buff our Terracotta Sentinels, which we will most definitely want, and oh, Iron Hail Gunner buffs as well. I would like a few of those, and Devastating Flank for Jade Lancers. Yeah, there's still definitely a decent amount of good techs and that we will want to go through. You're going to have to stay here while Zhao Ming swaps places with you. Alright, so you're going to go into a camp stance. You're going to start heading out here to enemy territory, but it is what it is. Zhao Ming, you're going to move into Granite Spikes and wait until Zhatan comes back, huh? He's building some units, but probably not good enough anyway. You're gonna head out to Blizzard Peak. This should be auto-resolvable. I'm sure you're gonna get hurt, but at the same time, it won't matter. It will kind of matter, because you're gonna lose a unit if you do this. Nonetheless, it's an annoyance, but it's not the biggest of annoyances. And the reason for that is because this particular army will nonetheless have to do this. Iron Drakes, and you know what, you and you, also Iron Drakes. Now, as for whether we go for more Iron Drakes, I feel like we actually, you know what, maybe this is a good time to actually just sit here and recruit.
Only the worthy may.
This is the Fire Army after all, and rather than going for 4 Iron Drakes, just in case they never get into combat, or as, well, in some battles, because of all the rockets and various things, I'm going to go to Yvresse, and then I'm gonna go for 2 Arcane Phoenixes, because they're fiery, and they have abilities that are fire abilities, which are nice. Does the Tornado ability, Ember Storm? Yeah, Ember Storm. That sounds very appropriate for a fire army. Alright, looks good to me. Hopefully Yvresse doesn't disappear while we're building that. Alright, the Sentinels don't need to do anything, the Admiral doesn't need to do anything, Mujin doesn't need to do anything. While we're here, Yuan Bo is headed out after all, but they still can defend our coastline. Miao Ying, you are going to follow up and destroy the remnants of that little army, though I'm sure they annoyed you slightly, and auto-resolve it. And I just saw an Ogre stack 2 seconds ago, wait a second. Ah, another Standard of Wei Jin, nice find. Skruck. Huh. I take it Skruck is here to go after this army, which is a little bit concerning, but at the same time, would he be able to actually do anything about it? Oh damn, I forgot to give a hero to the caravan, not that I guess it matters all that much. Let's get you another ambush chance reduction, I guess. Or we could just power you up even further. You know what, just screw it, just go for sure aim, another point in there. You're fine. It's not like we actually need to increase the selling capacities or whatever. Also, do you have the reduction in attrition? Yeah, you do. Okay, he's fine, he's fine. It's all okay, guys. Everyone can relax. Alright, Baifeng... Oh, right. This, you know what? I'm going to rename her to Sentinel because I keep looking at this army and thinking, what the heck are you doing? You don't need to move. You're just here in case. Miao Ying Fairy, are you ready to go now? Yes, you are. Fantastic. Alright, so grab these two Celestial Dragon crossbows and get to marching. You got all the way to Miao Ying to travel. Alright, Fairy 1 is complete. Next up, Jiaoming Ferry. First of all, well, the recruitment will continue for a while as yet, and this will be Jiaoming's army. We got the Terracotta Sentinels in here, right? Yes, indeed we did. You are also going to do this. I would like you to build 4 lead belchers. This is going to be in our all-gun army. And this is not going, we're going to trade it back. It's not going to go for, it's not going to be in Zhao Ming's army, but it will be an N army. And I do want an all-gun army after all, and lead belchers would certainly fit in nicely. We'll have some lanterns in it, we'll have some sky junks in it. Hopefully we'll get the opportunity to use it, because the end games are coming. Anyway, let's see what else we got here. You are who? Oh, right, you're just defending the Southern Sentinels? By the looks of it, the lizards are doing fairly well, so there's a decent likelihood that you'll never actually need to defend the place, but nonetheless, let's get you some, let's get you a couple lions. More than a couple lions, I guess. And I forget, are the crane gunners actually 1 turn to recruit? Yeah, they are. Huh, you know what? Maybe you don't need this many lions. Up on the walls, maybe the crane gunners are probably the better pick. Although, I do have to wonder if they're bugged in terms of their attacking capabilities when firing down from walls. I guess we'll find out if this settlement ever gets attacked. Though it'll be to our detriment if we find out and it, well, it doesn't really work. But anyway, I believe that's it. So let's go buildings and let's go next turn and proceed closer to that endgame. Alright, defenses for you, please. Han, you port, and you are good. You're in harmony. Haichai, your province capital is completed. You, I was probably going to do a military settlement with, but we may never get the chance to make another one. But, you know, for now, just stay as you are. Tower of Ashung, let's upgrade you to the next tier. Man, we don't have a lot of upgrades that we need to do, which is actually swell. Also, don't bother collecting the income here. Gash Kadrak, we're gonna trade you. Stone Sky Foothills, we're gonna abandon you. Everything else looks fine to me, which means we're gonna skip here in on mode. Building upgrade available, and Miao Ying needs to move still. Try to go all the way around to Eagle Aries. I'm 90% sure this guy's gonna try to jump here. You know what? Tech Thief? Block this army. 100% success rate? Ouch. Well, you're screwed now. I'm not sure that you could actually jump over. Do you have maximum amount of block capabilities? Yeah, you do. Nice. Very nice. Alrighty, and rating. Where do we see rating? Oh, it was in Black Fang. Okay, yeah, that's fine. And then we'll trade all this away as soon as these guys are done for. I would actually like you to take for Dorjny Vort, but we can't have that at the moment. We can also, before I forget... Can we recruit another one of these yet? This is for our all-flyer army. It is 28. Okay, next turn. Royal Hippogriff Knights. I feel like they would be well placed in an all-Air Force army. Also, I wonder if Grimgor will come back. He does have, what, 7 or 8 provinces remaining, or territories remaining, so there's a decent likelihood. And Zatan, you have not yet revived, but you do have a full stack. You want peace. That ain't gonna happen. And is that Zatan that just came back? Now, some other guy. But if he can draw everybody out into a field battle, that would actually be wonderful. I'm sure that's what Zhao Ming will want. Just gotta get that Zatan to feature rate. I mean, what else would we be doing out here? Steel Tech success and income from settlements inner speed. Yes, working on it. Battle Masters, leadership for all armies. If we defeat Kukhar Rune Smasher, who's extremely far from us, and we probably will never will. Zatan's still not back, right? No. Okay. I don't know how many turns it's been since he died, but, well, you just keep healing and waiting, Zhao Ming. We got your new army to recruit anyway. Is this still attrition-y? Yeah, it's still pretty attrition-y, and we can't reach the challenge stone in 1 bound, so we'll be okay. You can keep building your Arcane Phoenixes and Iron Drakes, but the rest of your army still needs to be replaced. Miao Ying, you're gonna go to the Eagle Aries, and you are going to block this army again, so it can't run from her. Lovely. Tech thieves serve more than one purpose after all. I'll resolve this. And occupy. Hello, volley of high arrows. And it's a magic missile. I wonder what this actually costs. It's a magic missile, not a bombardment. Is this equivalent to Kurnus thing? Arrow of Kurnus or whatever? I don't know, I guess we'll see. Province Gashkadrek. For us, only temporarily, but we can put it to increase... Oh, I was about to say increase our movement range, but that's reversed, so it's a decrease of enemy movement range. Not quite the same thing, alas. Oh well. Not gonna bother upgrading you. We got 6 turns left for Pledge to Progress. Alright, Yuan Bo, how close are we here? I see. Noctilus has fallen. Which means I do believe these guys are done for. Oh, they've even been... Alright. It looks like we won't need to do anything here. They've already been damaged and they have nothing left. Well, let's see if they get destroyed. We'll just hang out here for a turn or two. And if they get destroyed, then they get destroyed. Maybe we can meet like a rogue army in the sea, but if not, then we're heading out through the sea lanes and out to the Darklands to join the rest of Yuan Bo's siblings. He's achieved his goals in Lustria, after all. He may as well make his triumphant return to Grand Cathay. Anyway, let's see who else needs to move. If anybody. Jiao Ming is waiting. Sentinels obviously don't need to move. What about the fairies? Yes, fairies will always need to move. So you are moving. You should now be able to recruit your Royal Pegasus Knight, if I can find you. There, Hippogriff Knight, not Pegasus. Alright, you're good. How is the fairy looking? Pretty okay, and this is... oh, going to take a little bit longer. Okay, fine. We'll do this, and then we will have you start recruiting them instead. Like that, because the recruiter won't move anyway, but this army can move and trade. Alright, 2 more turns. How are we doing otherwise? Well, I guess we'll have to check everybody else first. You still want more white lions. Hopefully we get a chance to use the white lions in tandem with the other lions. War lions, rather. The war lions, white lions, whatever. Close enough. And yeah, you should have enough to build another one, and I believe we're good in terms of this, so let's go next turn. I wonder, will we get a warning on turn 80? I guess we'll see. Let's see. Let's get you to Celestial Observatory. Dreadrock, you are definitely going to be a money-making location, so we will definitely want the wares market here, / spice market, and... do we want defenses here? Probably don't need to bother. Let's go for one of these. Actually, one of these for now. To get the additional growth. We need all the growth we can get in this place. Alrighty, looks good. Next up, there's probably not much. Yeah, there's basically nothing. In terms of building, which is great. Alright, skip unassigned hero. Building upgrade available. No, you're a lying game. There's no building upgrade available. Or at least not ones that we need. And the rest of this is good, so end the turn. And who are you and why are you moving? Oh, the pile of heroes for our new armies. Yeah, that's fine. Keep them moving.
Astromancer of Grand Cathay.
Alright, I actually shouldn't have said keep them moving, because frankly, them moving a little bit like that's a little bit annoying, but oh, what can you do? Alright, Warhost of Jar, let's hope that ZHATAN has revived for one last fight with us. Etc., what you want? You want military access. I don't see why we would. You're so far away from us, it'll never happen. Yeah, it'll increase our relationship, but everybody around Cetra is most likely angry at him, so... and this just decreases our likelihood of maintaining friendly relations with a bunch of factions. Alright, what do we have here? Oh. Fight the I don't really care. This is not worth our time. Take the long way around. Confederation with Karakazul. Interesting. Not relevant to us really, but it's fine. Wait, did somebody just succeed in an assault units? How dare you? You have got to be kidding me. This army was healing up too. And what? The assault units did like barely did anything damage? Okay. It did like no damage, and I didn't even know what to say about it. Let's go for Sentinel rights, I guess, to some degree. We should also go for Longma bridles. I mean, I guess we're going for everything everywhere, but nah, I'm going for the Sentinel thing for now. I want to do all the martial stuff once again. All the unit improvements. I guess martial makes sense. Damn phraseology from Baldur's Gate just keeps creeping into my Warhammer. Then to be fair, my Warhammer has crept into my Baldur's Gate, so yeah. It's like mixing peanut butter and chocolate. Standard of Wei Zhen. I forgot who had these, because apparently we switched these out. Magical damage. You know what? I feel like magical damage in the Fire Rain Rocket might not be the worst thing in the world, though the spell resistance is a little bit wasted. Do you have magical damage? Yeah, you do. Alright. War Drum with magical damage? It does have a tendency to get hit. Nah, you know what, I'm still gonna put it on the Fire Rain Rockets. And then you can go on this guy for now. I'll resolve this real quick. Obviously not worth fighting that garbage. And another Silk Weaver, another Sword Master, though these don't matter all that much either. Alrighty. Well, Grimoire is nearly dead. Don't bother collecting the income because we will be abandoning or trading this place away. Not entirely sure. Zatan? Zatan? Are you? Ah, he is back. Fantastic. Alright, so... Well, let's see if he's willing to fight here, shall we? First of all, we have 3 points to assign. We could go for Deadly Onslaught, but frankly, Zhao Ming is already pretty strong. We have been... you know what, let's get him his spellcasting passives. He uses Dragon's Breath pretty much constantly, so let's do that. And try to go through to his Arcane Conduit. Now, we really got to be careful with his spell point, or his skill points, rather, because he's gonna run out real quick. Glittering Robe for you, Plague of Rust, and not maxed out, but getting there. You... Rolling Skies. I guess we can get Rolling Skies for this particular battle. And then let's get 2 points in Wind Blast, 1 point in Neuronons, and we're basically good. Now, let's see if they're all willing to fight. You guys better be. Don't make Zhao Ming siege the place. Come on, come on. And they are indeed willing to fight with Zhatan there as well. Not too bad. This looks like it might be fun. The Orc Laborers. Well, the Skullcrackers and the massive pile of Dwarf Warriors, at the very least, or Chaos Dwarf Warriors, should be doable. Plus, we don't have as much range or artillery prowess in this particular army as we do in others, so here we go. Alrighty, here we go. Zhao Ming has finally reached the end of his journey to cross the mountains of Morn and kill Zhatan and acquire his defeat trait. We're going to start off by facing off against some orc laborers of various types, and we're not even going to kill them off with the Fire Rain Rockets and the Grand Cannon. We've simply deployed these guys here for when Zhatan arrives, and that looks like Zhatan, poor Zhatan, horrible luck that he has had throughout this campaign, is once again arriving on the field in a place that is not really conducive to being able to take your formation. And good if you're in a boxy sort of defensive formation, I suppose, but if they're going to charge through us, there's a natural choke point here as they move through. Last time he was fought, he arrived here, and it was the same kind of issue, so it's going to get ugly for him, as it has been once again throughout the campaign. Anyway, rather than using the artillery to kill off all of these orc laborers, we're going to allow our Jade Warriors to have some fun. You gotta allow the troops their time to train, after all, and, this is some nice live training. Alrighty, there we go. More Jade Warriors making their way through with the drumming away. I believe Zhao Ming has begun to transform in the background and is going after that enemy Sorcerer Prophet of Death. Said Sorcerer Prophet does, however, have the bound ability Flame and Shadow, so he's going to get a bombardment down on our Jade Lancers, and actually that single bombardment takes more than half of their HP, so that's quite a bit of damage, and funnily enough, might actually be the most damage the enemy manages to do, at least in terms of a single ability or a single unit's effectiveness. Maybe the Skullcracker might be able to mow down a decent amount of the Jade Warriors as well. Hard to say. I guess we'll see. But yeah, well done to the Flame and Shadow. In the meantime, obviously, the Orc Laborers are getting absolutely mobbed by our Jade Warriors without too much trouble whatsoever. A little bit more of a difficult time over on this side, though it's by and large only enemy Orc Laborers going down. Oh, I see a few corpses of a few of the Jade Warriors as well. These guys have lost 5 units, and okay, these two have lost none, but these guys have lost 5. So, good job to the Orc Laborers for that. They do have armor piercing after all. Cheap access to armor piercing is one of the reasons that they remain at least somewhat useful. Anyway, the first of the enemy armies has been destroyed, and now it looks like ZHATAN has arrived on the field. We did send Zhao Ming directly to have a little bit of a duel with him, while the artillery begins firing on the piles of enemies down below, and once again, this is where it gets real ugly. That choke point is once again going to screw them. On top of that, it will allow us to cast a few more spells. Gehenna's Golden Hounds are right in the middle of the enemy formation, to be followed up by a final transmutation as well. Zhao Ming gonna get some hits on him from the enemy Hobgoblin Archers, but that's not a big deal. ZHATAN has activated his Armor of Gazrak and a Potion of Healing, so it will take a while to deal with Zhao Ming like this, but at the same time, Zhao Ming can probably out-heal the Potion of Healing with the sheer amount of healing that he has. And in the meantime, our artillery are landing their shots right in the middle of like a dozen units at the same time. The choke point on the map once again working against the enemy. And it's looking pretty ugly. Plenty of units are routing, though a decent amount of them are laborers. I do imagine that the Orc Warriors, Chaos Dwarf Warriors rather, will still be very much willing to fight. There is also a couple Skullcrackers that are moving towards us, though one of them has been dropped to about half HP via taking shots from our Grand Cannon. We are also now trying to move all of our Jade Warriors back into formation to block off the enemy units as they move through. There's that Dragon's Breath coming down from Zhao Ming as well, while he continues to fight ZHATAN in the sky, and now has begun to drop him down to about half HP. Very, very nice. And Zhao Ming maintains his HP. He's mostly taking damage from the Hobgoblin Archers, but otherwise, we're looking pretty okay, and it looks like he should be able to defeat ZHATAN without too much trouble. And that Sundered Armor is, I feel like, really working for us there. And if we were to combine it with the Plague of Rust, which I believe at max level is minus 50 armor, we could actually get ZHATAN to 0 armor, which would be pretty darn significant. Anyway, here comes the Skullcracker, and it looks like some Chaos Dwarf Warriors and some Goblin Laborers have actually managed to reach our lines, but here come the Jade Warriors and the 2 Drums and Wuxing Compass to hold the line, which I'm sure they'll be able to do. Ah, I love the glorious spectacle. And the map with this map with all the floating rocks, infinite floating rocks going up into the sky is also pretty neat as well. Anyway, more enemies are trying to make it towards our battle line. ZHATAN in the background is, let's see, reached his own healing cap and is less than, I believe, a quarter of his HP remaining. I also want to point out, even though it's not super important, that the Jade Lancers, the Hurt Jade Lancers, I sent them to kill off the Sorcerer Prophet. I did that when we destroyed this first enemy army about 3 minutes ago, and they just are not able to bring him down. I think once again the problem is that they get into each other's way and they knock him to the ground, which means that they're not really able to kill them. I remember encountering this a lot when using Ogre units. They have a horrible tendency to constantly get into each other's way and prevent each other from hitting and or killing things, especially smaller models. But whatever. At least in the meantime, we're getting some very nice action on the front line here with the Fire Rain rockets arcing overhead and the drums right in the middle of the action, and Urnon's Thunderbolt just came down in the pile of enemy Chaos Dwarf Warriors, and that at least looks like it was pretty effective. ZHATAN in the background is nearly done for, and to prevent him shattering and escaping, we're going to have him killed off with the Longma Riders coming back to prevent him from moving. And there we go. Down he goes to the ground one last time. Obviously, Zhao Ming had already defeated him, but Zhao Ming isn't very good at chasing like this. So why would we waste our time doing that? Anyway, with ZHATAN'S fall to the ground, his troops witnessing the defeat, the final defeat of their lord and master, the overall commander of the Tower of Jar as well, they will all shatter, and the only thing left on the field is a single Skullcracker, which we still have to destroy. I do love watching Skullcrackers do their thing though, so for a little while at least, we can watch it mince a few Jade Warriors before it inevitably gets brought down by the halberds. I wonder how much damage a drum would be able to do to it. It does have decent weapon strength at 384 and fairly decent armor on top of it. Actually surprisingly decent stats on this thing, 59 melee attack. Let's see, it hasn't gotten a lot of kills, just out of curiosity though. 1,000 damage, yeah. And the actual damage it does isn't all that great, but anyway. A Plague of Rust, oh, I'm wrong, it was, oh, the non-upgraded version does 50 armor reduction. I guess the upgraded version does minus 96, bringing the Skullcracker's armor down to 24, which is hilarious considering it's just a big steel monstrosity. Anyway, with the Plague of Rust upgraded, absolutely heavily damaging it, we will pop the final transmutation as well to do massive amounts of damage over time, and this thing will drop extremely quickly. Spinning blades aside, it's not going to deal with the alchemical magics that would counter this sort of thing, and will go down very, very quickly. As compared to once the magic was in there, just compared to the way that the troops were doing damage to it. Well done, Alchemist. And I'm sure Zhao Ming appreciates that sort of thing. Anyway, let's chase down whatever we can, and look, it's 8 minutes in, and 8 minutes and 30 seconds in, and finally, that lord that we've been chasing around has been killed by the Jade Lancers. Once again, I'm just going to point out that I think I looked at 5 minutes and 30 seconds last time, so 3 minutes, and he had 300 HP more than 3 minutes ago. 300 HP they were not able to do to him. It seems a little weird, doesn't it? It doesn't feel right. It's only 300 HP, and then overall more than 5 minutes of just chasing him down with barely any HP left and not really doing any damage. But hey, at least they did manage to kill him in the end. Anyway, it looks like Zhao Ming has fully recovered his HP, and the victory is ours. Close apparently, but let's face it, not close at all. Oh wow, a potion of healing from that? That was a very nice and lucky pickup. Anyway, there we go. You know, I don't think I've ever had a campaign, or rather, I don't think I've ever had an enemy in a campaign that has had as much horrible luck as ZHATAN did in this one. Though finally we have put him out of his misery, as that was his last fight. Poor ZHATAN. Once again, I do feel bad, but I had to be destroyed. Alrighty, and just take the Volery. Oh, this little army will survive with a few HP. But anyway, range artillery, absolutely fantastic for our fire rain rockets. There we go. And so falls the Volery, raise the place, and I'd be curious to see, after we raise it, what will happen to this guy. Wait, will he die? Yes, he'll actually die to attrition. Oh, just adding more insult to all the injury. We also thus do no longer need the granite spikes, so we can freely abandon the settlement, and we'll see about the rest of these settlements later on. Once again, I suppose we could in theory give this to the ogres, but frankly, I doubt that they could hold it. I don't recall, but I'm pretty sure Goldtooth can't occupy the Chaos Wastes either. Anyway, with that, let's see. Well, we're basically out of time. Did anybody else want to move anywhere? Yuan Bo, I forget. Did we? All right, we're just gonna wait to see if anything interesting happens here. Oh. And they didn't get destroyed. You know what? Maybe then we will get the chance to fight at the Galleon's graveyard. It's probably not going to be crazy difficult, but it looks like the elves did allow the Galleon's graveyard to recover for a turn and to build up, which means start of next episode we'll have Yuan Bo attack before Nashir does, so that we can take the battle and enjoy ourselves at least a little bit more. Let's then, well, I was about to say let's move everybody else around, but I guess then we're probably just better off ending the episode here, and I'll take care of the boring aspects of the admin, then we'll move everybody, and then we'll attack with Yuan Bo at the start of next episode. Lovely. Alrighty, well, then I am calling it here. Next time, I guess, well, Zhatan will be destroyed as soon as we end the turn. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Fort Torjani Fort got taken by the Karakadrin Dwarfs rather than retaken by the Ice Court, but oh well. Hopefully these guys move up to help out with Clan Ferric, as well, they're holding, but still having a little bit of a tough time. Anyway, next time we will probably destroy Grimgor, we'll fight at the Galleon's graveyard, and then we'll start moving back towards the Darklands via one of the sea lanes. On top of that, I do believe that with the destruction of the Greenskins, there will be nothing left to do here, which means we'll be able to just build our armies and prepare for the endgame scenario. So it approaches, and we'll probably start within the next 2 episodes, I believe, so stay tuned for it. Don't forget to leave a like and comment. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.